Namaskar everyone. Welcome everyone of Sri Lanka and India, where Kamal Gouda sir from Sri Lanka side is the president and Mr. Sudhakar Singh is the president for DKIF from India side. They are doing a wonderful job of this education. And today, our guest speaker is Mr. Avinash Kulkarni. He is the principal of a prestigious school in Mumbai, and he's MSc Physics. And today, the topic is so good, close to the heart of the whole educational world, that is the STEM, science, technology, engineering, maths, how it is in the curriculum these days. So I will request Mr. Avinash Kulkarni to start this.
Good evening to one and all present here, all dignitaries present for this particular webinar. I am thankful to the organizers and particularly Dr. Rashmi, as she has actually taken initiatives for taking this particular webinar, and she has told me to do your input. So I'm happy to share whatever I am having about the STEM education, and definitely it will be fruitful for everyone to have the exchange of knowledge so that we can build a learning community, which is actually the organization's motto, which I can see here. So having said that, the STEM education is something very important because of so many reasons, and we are into it since long. If I take you to the trend or the problems which we are facing, like I just wanted to talk to you about the major issues faced globally. The first and foremost thing which I can take it in this context is the climate change and environmental sustainability, which is major issue. Nowadays, we are seeing everywhere what are the things happening because of the climate change and environmental change. The second thing is energy access and efficiency, which is a major one, how efficiency of energy can be enhanced and how preventions of energy losses can be taken into account. Same is the case with information technology and digital inclusion, which is must for the current generation, 21st century skills, how information technology is playing vital role nowadays and what things we are doing through the digital inclusion. Healthcare and diseases like COVID and all, whatever we are getting nowadays, how we can improve our healthcare units and how we can prevent the diseases. You might have seen the things happening globally nowadays about the food security and agriculture. Very specific examples we can take the Ukraine war or maybe the Gaza or whichever the things we take into account, how important it is for the food security. And similarly, we can think of water management and water crisis, which globally we are facing, like South Africa and all nowadays, what water crisis they are having. Infrastructural development as population growth is regular and it is going to be burst at any time. Accordingly, do we have the adequate infrastructure and resilience of the same? These are some points which I found relevant to start with what all major problems we are facing globally and how we can improve those things by using STEM. That is one thing which I am going to have it in this webinar. The second thing, before going to the problem solutions, I just given you the problems now. I would like to bring your focus back to the facts about the STEM education. If you take the trends in the enrollment globally, if I consider the last decade, that is from 2010 onwards to 2019 or 20, in decade I'm talking about, the number of bachelor degrees awarded in the STEM field grew by 34%. So that is a decade data which is having presently. But if you take now first, with 2021 onwards and 23. So this is going to be multifold now. Similarly, the popularity of the STEM undergraduate streams, particularly biological sciences, engineering, computer sciences, and mathematical statistics, is a major popular streams for the undergraduate students. That is the global enrollment trend in the universities and allied areas. If you see the gender disparities, which we generally talk about when we consider for the women workforce in the STEM. So 20%, 27% of the women are still working in particularly the STEM, but what about the remaining percentage that we have to actually work out? But the trend is slowly changing now. Percentage of women earning bachelor's degree in computer science has increased in the recent year. And that is what we are looking forward to avoid the gender disparities. The ethnic diversity is also major concern for STEM education to populate because of so many reasons, which I think the NSF data which I undergone, I just studied the NSF, that is National Science Foundation data, which says that the minorities are underrepresented, particularly African American and in other countries, like whichever the minorities or ethnic populations are there, they are neglected in the STEM education. There are so many reasons behind, but yes, it is the data is saying that they are minorities in the STEM education too. So to provide their majority, to take them into the STEM, many of the government agencies are working, NGOs are working by providing the mentorship policies or scholarships or providing some of the incentives to the deserving candidates. But it is not sufficient because many of the ethic and diversity is there throughout, and it has to be taken care by all of us. Then employment outlook. If I take out the statistics which are given by US Bureau of Labor Statistic, which has estimated that the growth of employment outlook is in the STEM increased by 8% from 20 to 30. That is expected that by 2030, 8%, it can be more than that, but this is a expected growth of 8%. When we compare with the non-STEM occupations, it is only 3.7%. But whereas the growth for the STEM is going to be multifold. So why it is so? Because there are so many reasons which already we are knowing. One of the reason is that higher wages is that the talent is required, and many of the people who wants actually the STEM engineers, they are not getting because of the lack of skills. So next part is of a skill gap. Lot many people are having the degrees, but actual skill which is required in the industry is lacking. And constantly the people are getting degrees without having the skills. And that is a major gap which has been seen in the STEM education, in the industry, because of lack of proper STEM education in the schooling and higher education. So we need to think of how this gap can be minimized. So many initiatives taken by different educational departments and vocational universities and all together coming up. But this gap has to be minimized so that maximum skilled educated workforce should be created within a short period of time, because the requirement of such skilled persons are very high. The efforts has been taken by industry partnership with the educational institutions. That is ongoing process, and every person who is having that skill has to be upskilled, because the technology is advancing, and every time we cannot just have the degree and that's enough, because the upcoming trends in the technology is evolving day by day, and accordingly upskilling is also important in this case. So the skilling gap is also minimized. I will take you to some of the initiatives the government of India has taken for the STEM education. Very first thing which they are talked about is the Atal Innovation Mission. As I am a principal of CBSE, I am being in this field for last 27 years. and I am working on this Atal Tinkering Lab, which is a very best, and I think the exact requirement what actually tinkering has to be done at what particular age group. This initiative really taken the students for innovations. The students under this Atal Tinkering Lab, they are doing the wonders, and they are not having only the burden of a very specific subject. It is interlinked, interconnected, interdisciplinary, and as a result, they have the freedom to go beyond their curriculum, and they should investigate the new innovative ideas which they think of going to happen. This is one of the best initiative the government of India has taken, and almost I think 20-25% of the Indian schools are having Atal Tinkering Lab. Apart from Atal Tinkering Lab, there is another initiative taken by Rashtriya India Government of India, Rashtriya Avishkar Abhiyan, which is nothing but your again innovation, where they seeks the for spirit of inquiry. So the students are given freedom to ask any kind of questions, think over that, and try to resolve those issues by integrating the science and mathematics in the school curriculum. So Rashtriya Avishkar Abhiyan is one of the best thing which is implemented in India, and many of the schools are opting for it, and many of the initiatives from private public private partnerships, government and private partnerships are coming up, and many of the school students are really working in this particular area. In higher education, like we are having the collaboration with IITs, IIScs, and NEET, and a college of repute. They are also integrating the STEM education for the graduates and undergraduate students, and they are really doing a fantastic job to propagate the STEM education and upgrade the skills which are required in the futuristic scenario. The government of India also has taken the initiatives to call the students from abroad with the title or the tagline "Study in India." This is also one kind of a program which is initiated for upbringing the STEM education in the Indian institutions by calling the outside students or abroad students to the Indian universities. There is a big point which is there, industry academic collaboration. It was gap earlier. If you take back for 5 or 6 years back, the academic institutions work only for academy, but industry people require some of the skill force which is missing. Now the initiatives from government of India like startup and micro skilling level institutions, professional courses, they are starting at the micro level. Then different startups are coming up, where actually the industry is coming to the academic institutes and saying that, yes, these are the skills I require. You can have your own tailor-made curriculum, and you try to make out the required skills which is required for our industry. So there is a industry and academic institutes collaboration is going on, and public-private partnership already we are knowing it, and there are so many initiatives taken by the government of India to enhance this partnership and enhance the STEM education. So these are the few areas which I think the government of India is doing very best, and everyone is benefited by these initiatives. Next, if I want to introduce the STEM education in my school, so I am going to focus on the school, because actual innovation starts at the student who is going to be around 6th or 7th standard, where he think differently out of the box. And at that time, if proper environment of learning is not given, or skilling concept which actually introduced at this level, if it is not appropriate, the things which actually need for futuristic education is going to be missed. So as a result, when we think of the STEM education or STEM curriculum, I mean to say that how we can divide the STEM curriculum for different age groups. This is a concept which I just wanted to highlight here. If I can introduce the curriculum of the STEM for kindergarten to grade 2, what are the things I should be in the curriculum? So there will be a basic scientific concepts should be introduced, and hands-on experience, that is observations, is a major concept at this level. So maximum observation opportunity should be given to the child so that they will inculcate the habit of scientific understanding, the basic concept of standard science, and how the things happens. Only if they start understanding that, that is more than enough. Exploration of the simple machines, the structure through building activities. Nowadays, if you see the National Curriculum Framework for Foundational Stage, which NEP has introduced, it is saying that experiential learning is very important and a playway method is important. At the same time, the puzzles and different games, gamification of education is what we are looking forward. And that is what it is going to be here if we are giving the simple machines to assemble or segregate the things according to, or maybe making sorting, searching or something like that, which actually makes the fun in the classroom. And at the same time, the curriculum which is actually required for the STEM education can be integrated at this level by introducing a coding concept also. So coding is not simply making the programs in the computer, but a logical thinking, the process of dividing the problem into the steps, like we can say algorithmic approach, should be introduced at this level. So this is the kindergarten to class 2 curriculum, which we basically focusing on just the observation and joyful environment. But if we go bit higher level, we have to have the exploration of life sciences, earth sciences, and physical sciences through inquiry and investigation. So the curiosity of the child increases at this particular age, 3 to 5 or up to 6 standard. They may be seeing the objects, but they are not knowing why it is like that. So that curiosity, the inquiry-based approach should be inculcated in our curriculum. Introduction to the engineering design process through project activities like building structures, designing simple machines. This is a part and parcel of this particular age group. Introduction to the computational thinking and coding through the block-based programming language. So computational thinking is very important at this stage, because unless they think what will be the way to have the solution for the given problem, their computational thinking is not going to be developed. And at the same time, when they think for computational, then they should use the block programming, because it is easy for them to drag and drop, and they start having the fun with the programming code, like your Scratch or something you can take into consideration and start making a fun with the computational thinking, so that they will understand better and they will inculcate the habit of inquiring more and getting the things as per their choices. A development of fundamental math skills, including operations, fractions, geometry, and data analysis through real-life world, is also one of the major aspects which we can inculcate in this particular curriculum, where basic fundamental mathematical applications like data analysis, then real-life world applications has to be introduced. If I take the grade 6 to 8, so it is just enhancing whatever the skills they are used up to 5th, but it is in the deeper sense. And if I take more advanced, then if I talk about class 9 to 12, then advanced study of scientific disciplines such as biology, chemistry, physics, and environmental science with the focus of critical thinking and problem solving with the research skills is very important. Unless a child goes for action research, or a child goes for something which the major problems the society is facing, dividing those problems into the small issues and researching on that is what expected from classes 9 to 12 students. And that's the reason we need to deepen the curriculum level at this stage. It is not only just one subject, it should be integrated. In the sense, all subjects together should be there. That is science, mathematics, technology, engineering, and art. So unless we integrate all these subjects together, the STEM curriculum is not going to be complete. So in that aspect, I would prefer to have the objectives in the mind when you are setting the curriculum for the STEM. We need to think art also, because unless and until art integration is there, the students will not be having the satisfaction of doing the things, because art is such a subject where they express themselves. The inner feelings comes out in the design form, or maybe in the any performing art form, or in the form of your maquetron, or anything which they actually feel to be creative. If I take a simple example of logo design also, how the logo should be designed, a simple logo of their own choice. If they are starting the company, they may use different aspects of designing the logo. That is, their inner creativity comes out when they put it, the concept of designing the logo, or such any examples which we think of can be introduced at this stage. So I am audible, I am going okay.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, thank
Yes.
you. Because
And you are
I
visible
want to
also.
get.
And
Thank
we are
you.
listening to you, your wisdom.
Oh, thank you. So, curriculum of the STEM should be cross-integrated. That is, curriculum should be integrated with all subjects, not only the science, technology, mathematics, and engineering. I told about the art; it should be literature also. Unless the language comes in the picture, it is not going to be complete. It will become 100% when we include interdisciplinary approach for tackling with the STEM education. Uh, to have this STEM education, what are all the pedagogies we can use it for? If anyone can unmute, or do we have the question answer session afterwards, so that I will finish off and then we'll have the discussion?
So whatever pedagogies are there today,
I will, yeah.
so we like to listen from you, because everybody, all of us, yeah, we are having, new
Okay,
pedagogies. Yes, sir.
yeah. Very specific, I'm talking about the STEM pedagogy. STEM pedagogy, basically, what is actually the STEM is, we have to think or the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, all are logical subjects. And to ignite the logical thinking for problem solving, we are having a very specific kind of pedagogies which are in line with the STEM. Very specific, I can say, is an inquiry-based learning. This is a, unless and until we inculcate the inquiry, curiosity, or knowing the things in the child will not be having any creative thinking process in the mind, and which will not be resulting in the problem solving. So the approach of inquiry-based learning should be to foster the critical thinking and curiosity and problem solving. So this is a one part which is supposed to be taken when I talk about the pedagogy. The project-based learning (PBL) model is very successful model for the STEM learning. Very specifically, when I take the school in the account, schooling students, I may give the project at the beginning of the term, and I may expect the completion of the project after maybe 3 months or maybe 6 months, term-wise, if I give the project. When I give the project should be such that there should be a teamwork, there should be a hands-on experience, there should be a critical thinking, there should be a brainstorming, there should be a problem-solving approach, and there should be an experimentation. So this approach is only possible when we use the specific pedagogy of project-based learning. Many a times, action research is going to happen in the project-based learning. So the project should be chosen, age-appropriate project should be given for them. And whatever the projects we are giving, we have to think over all these aspects of how we can inculcate the habit of team building and all these things. The another pedagogy which we can think of is uses of technology. So how do I integrate the technology in my STEM pedagogy? Ultimately, the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics is part and parcel of the technology. So technology plays a significant role in the STEM pedagogy because it is giving experimentation, modeling, and the data analysis. So the simulations, there are so many modeling softwares which the students can use and think differently for designing their own models. The students will be having a learning experiences through the exploration of different concepts by their own data analysis tools, which are available online in the different forms. They may also use the STEM technology by using 3D design now with the artificial intelligence, then maybe using the machine learning and any of the such kind of things which we can consider for a moment. Everything can be done only with the uses of technology. Very specifically, the technology which is going to be advanced day by day, they have to upgrade themselves and they have to use it. So in the STEM pedagogy, the technology aspect is a crucial aspect to be integrated. Unless and until we give the opportunity for the children to have the experiments and hands-on practices, our curriculum or our aim of STEM is not going to be completed. So the STEM pedagogy should be focused on interacting with the material tools and technologies. The students should develop the practical skills and design their own understanding, or their abstract concepts should come into reality by doing the modeling or by playing with the material or reorganizing the things. The deepening of their understanding is only possible when they are actually tinkering with the things. That's what I told in the Atal Tinkering Lab. Many of the times I used to give one IC and I will tell them that what we can do with 555 timer. So they will start thinking and they will do many of the things related to that. Same is the case if I give any object to the child should first observe that what this object is, why this is like this, and then what are the abstract concepts they should be having associated with that object. So unless and until they handle those objects, unless and until they do the hands-on activities, they are not able to cope up with the actual problems or actual their understanding. Hence, we feel that the hands-on activities should be more appropriate for STEM pedagogy, and it should be given freedom for the child to go beyond and do the tinkering and adjust or uh, take the call based on their understanding. One more thing in the STEM pedagogy will think of giving the authentic context. The STEM pedagogy emphasizes on importance of connecting the learning to the real world applications. It is true in all the sense that whenever we give something to do experimentally, so the real problems which the child is seeing in around will be actual happening. That is what the authentic contents are there with the child. So the authenticity of the problem is known to the child. So any such problems, which actually I started with my session saying that what are the global problems we are facing about. So if we take that into the consideration and whatever the problem solving methodology the child is going to have, they will be a real problems, real life problems, and they are authentic in the nature. Many times virtually we will think differently and will give some issues which are not relevant. It is not going to help the child to understand the abstract. So it is better to have authentic context. And always remember that STEM education pedagogy should be inclusive in nature. We cannot have the bifurcation with the gender or maybe with the caste, breed, or economic or whatever the things we can do. Everybody should be involved in the STEM education. So equity and equality and inclusion is a part and parcel of our STEM pedagogy. Then how the STEM education actually help us in solving the problems, like I talked about the climate change. The STEM education can empower the students to understand the science behind the climate change, environmental degradation, and sustainable development. By fostering an understanding of ecological system, renewable energy technologies, and mitigation strategies, the STEM education can inspire, innovate solutions to reduce the carbon emissions, conserve natural resources, and promote environmental stewardship. So, if I just introduce the STEM education, how it will be helpful for students to make the things out of the STEM education, they will be more empowered for understanding what the problem is in reality and how it can be sorted out. So in the healthcare also the same thing, unless and until we are giving the problems to the child, how the diseases are communicated, which are the communicable diseases, which are the non-communicable diseases, what are the meaning of pandemic, what are the diagnostic tools we have to use it. So all these things can be taught in the STEM education, and they will be given the freedom to think over how it can be reduced, how it can be minimized, or how what are the problematic area and how what are the solutions. So same is the case with any problems whichever you think of can be taken into account by using the pedagogies which are relevant to the particularly STEM. Now, what are the futuristic job market for the STEM? If I suppose I integrated the STEM in the education system, and what I'm looking forward, and what are the futuristic job approaches which after the completion of degree I will be taking. Those problems which I pointed out 7 problems. Those problems are problematic area throughout globally which has been taken, and for that sake we need a workforce. And this workforce is only possible when we start giving the STEM education from the K-12, that is schooling to the higher education. Very specific job market, which you can see nowadays, is emerging technologies. The emerging technologies is a major shift for all the engineers now. Whichever the stream you take, engineering, all are doing the job in the IT sector only. IT in the sense in allied field of the IT, very specifically AI, machine learning, robotics, metaverse, biotechnology, quantum computing, and blockchain. These are the emerging trends in the technology, and the job market is widely open for such skilled people. There are so many openings which are required for renewable energy and sustainability, where the actual skilling is not happening, but the requirement is very high. So if you take a 5 years time frame from now, much more higher rate of jobs are going to be coming up in this particular sector. Cybersecurity is one of the major job market for the future. You might have seen how the cyber threats are nowadays, how the accounts are hacked, how the cyberbullying is happening, and widely used the cyber data, that everything is under threat. So there are so many jobs which will be coming up in the future about the cyber security. Automation and robotics nowadays, with this digitization of everything, we might have seen that how robotics and automation is working hand in hand. You might have seen now the robo is replacing the teachers in the school. One of the best example in Tamil Nadu which has been given uh, with the chat GPT and generative AI, everything is possible nowadays. And for that sake, a lot of job market can be opened in the future. Core area of all these emerging technologies, data science and data analytics. So the students who are very good at mathematics or analytical skills, problem solving skills, they will be having a huge opportunity in this particular area of data sciences and analytics. And of course, those who are going for the healthcare and biotechnology, job market is widely open for that. So the STEM education is not having any limitation in the future if we do our best for our students to give a very specific kind of education so that their future will be secured, and a futuristic market which we are thinking of will be widely open for them unless we give a proper education to them. So with this, I think I covered many of the points, and I feel that STEM education has to go far long. We are hardly having maybe 30-35% we are achieved. but still 70% to 60% milestone yet to achieve. Very specifically, I'm talking about the Indian context because of wide population and diversity. We are not going to cope up with all the things because of these major issues. But in other countries also like Europe and American countries, the STEM education popularity is there, but the progress in which the education has to happen is still not going in the same speed. So with this particular kind of sessions, we can educate the people and we can spread the awareness about the STEM education. And definitely with the help of the organizations like you, this will be a boosting dose for everyone who look forward for the STEM education. I hope I have given my ideas about the STEM education and which will be fruitful for you people. I am open for taking the questions now. Thank you very much.
Hello, sir. It was really enriching. And what I liked about today, you have stressed upon that what kind of jobs will be there in the market for this young generation after they pass out. Then I will mention here that as per the Washington Accord, the big companies which are coming to India, or they are calling these, passed out from engineering colleges and from MBA colleges, they are telling them that what multitasking you can do. So multitasking we can compare with the multidisciplinary. One person can do multitasking only when he knows the multidisciplinary method, that is the STEM or the STEAM. Because the interview board, they say that, okay, your result card is perfect, very good marks, but let us know what you have done, how many programs you have organized, how you are going to do the teamwork, how you are going to handle the HR, and how you will do the problem solving. So this multitasking is required, which we can get from STEM and STEAM education. Because when a problem arises in a company, then we cannot just say that I'm good in maths, I'm good in physics. How will I handle this situation like hijacking of the plane if I'm the CEO of the airline company? So that is why a multifaceted personality with multidisciplinary attitude and the STEAM education curriculum. So that point I liked, where you spoke about the job market after this. And that was good. And I'll ask Dr. Pratibha also to give her say about such an important topic. Dr. Pratibha Singh, are you there, madam?
Yes, ma'am.
So please just talk about this aspect.
Which aspect, ma'am? STEAM.
STEAM or STEM, why it is so important in 21st century and in the job market, and how the teachers, they can plan it.
Actually,
So,
ma'am,
yes.
In 21st century, earlier it was known as a STEAM. Recently, it has changed to earlier it was STEM. Now it is considered as STEAM because आपका this is it includes is arts is also included. So earlier it was art integrated learning plus STEAM. Now both have considered as STEAM. And nowadays, ma'am, actually too much of depression, too much of stress, too much of rote learning. That is only creating, according to my views, ma'am, that is only going to create pressure and inside the youngster's mind. Need to learn this, need to learn this. But the practical skills, ma'am, when we come to our social life, when we come to our individual's life, in our life, when we try to move, then our practical skills are more important as compared to that rote learning and only bookish type of knowledge. And if a student is devoting half of his time in his school, amongst the books, and then he comes to her or his home and he tries to learn the skills, that is, there is no point doing that type of thing. That's why from CBSE side only it is included that within this bookish knowledge, it has to be interpreted like that, that besides these studying theory, experimental skills, jo practical skills, they have to be also inculcated at very starting stage. First thing, ma'am. Second thing, what was happening in India, that jo research work tha, that was starting at higher level, means at graduation or even at post graduation level. Even till nowadays, mostly universities are not having that research type of mindset or research in their curriculum till master's program. In MSc, for MSc, only 2 universities, if I'm not wrong, are there in India which are doing research. One is BHU and second is Pantnagar Agriculture University. And meanwhile, what happens, ma'am, after, and other delegates also, after some time, after a particular age, our mind becomes directional, or it works like a unidirectional way. And जो out of box thinking, like sir has also mentioned, out of box thinking, आपका random questioning, random ideas, they come at young stage only. And still, ma'am, even in my school, I can see that students are doing research, but they are not able how to project their research, how to write their research. So all these things means bacha is doing research, but he is not able to portray that in a correct direction. First thing. Second thing, if someone is good at writing part, he is not able where to decide. If someone is good at both, so there is no guidance, no resources available. That's why aapka tinkering labs like Atal Marathon, like type of things, they have started by government. Like aapke hackathon are there, Atal Marathon are there. Nowadays, artificial intelligence, coding. So these type of mixed from the CBSE side only, so that student can get proper platform within school and proper guidance from their relevant teachers only. And within 2-3 years, that change I have noticed, ma'am. We can see CBSE has decided only 2 to 3 activities for class 10th. Only 2 to 3 activities for class 10 practical examination. Apart from that, student is only doing question papers, previous year sample papers, or he's just finishing his NCERT textbooks. Apart from this, where are life skills? Where are sanctuary skills? Students are getting very good marks, but when they are able to portray themselves, when they are going to attend any interview, so they are not able to cope up that random type, that sudden type of questions they are not ready to face. Critical thinking, how to think, aapka broad mindset, how to reply, how to respond, that brainstorming, problem solving skills, aapka critical thinking, innovative, and collaborate with other members also, even at home or in school environment or in office, ma'am, collaboration is very important for a holistic development of that organization. If we think about long-term development, so all these things will be there in school environment. It is started at school because young minds are very much flexible. They are ready to accept the changes. They are ready to accommodate, and they are ready to think out of the box thinking. So, ma'am, for me, STEAM is like a revolution. Like, even I must like to mention one example, like aapka palazzos, ma'am. Ladies teacher are also here. I would like to mention palazzo. Earlier it was salwar, then pant. Then between salwar and pants, palazzos have been invented. And as per my experience, I have discussed these things with others also, that palazzo are suitable for all type of body types, all age groups of women. So STEAM is like that, ma'am. Every bacha, all peers are able to learn something out of that classroom of 35 minutes only. If STEAM means aapka science, technology, engineering, arts and maths, all are included. First thing. Second thing, ma'am, second benefit after applying of this STEAM in education, जो आपका bore learning था, science से बच्चा डरता है, maths phobia is there, and arts, no, arts नहीं करना है science वाले बच्चे को. So all these things have been diluted nowadays. So for me, as a science teacher and as a teacher also, STEAM is very important thing, ma'am. It's like a revolution in this education field. These are my views. Thank you so much, ma'am, for providing me my views. And even this lecture was very interesting for me. I was hearing it continuously, that what sir is going to tell. Thank you so much, sir. And thank you, Rashmi, ma'am, for
Very
asking
nice,
me
ma'am.
my views
Very
at this
nice.
great platform.
Really,
These are
अविनाश
my views.
सर, रश्मि मैम, अविनाश सर, बहुत ही अच्छा प्रेजेंटेशन था. It was really
प्रतिभा
a
में
good discussion and good presentation from Avinash sir. Avinash sir, my name is Sudhakar Singh, and I am a member of Dr. Kalam International Foundation. In short, with love, we say DKIF. So you said, inquiry-based learning, curiosity. Actually, the initiative of DKIF was based on curiosity. How it was? See, my father was in army, and you have army cantonment. So within cantonment, we have everything. You have a school, you have hospital, you have cinema theater, and everything is there in the cantonment. Uh, like today, we go and drop our children to school, or if we are not able to do that, we have cab for them. But earlier, we used to go by on their own, right? There was no one who was going to drop us or pick us up. So, army cantonment is such an area, or any defense, this area is totally green. So, we used to go through Pagdandes, right? So, I used to go through Pagdandes and used to, play with all those flowers on the way and the plants. I used to touch them and feel that they are like us. So one day there was this thing in class about Dr. Jagdish Chandra Basuji, and it was told that he invented that there is life in plant. I was very much surprised to hear this. I said, "What is new into this?" I talk to them daily, I touch them, and I feel that they are responding. So what is new into it? And I asked the teacher. So she said, "कि हाँ ठीक है, okay, fine." See, what was happening here when my curiosity about, talking to these plants was expressed, she did not encourage me. Okay. Had she encouraged me, I would have gone further into it. तो जब हम बड़े हो गए, when, नौकरी चाकरी and all and this, so I thought कि we should and we had this initiative. We started Dr. Kalam International Foundation, and then I started meeting people through Facebook, LinkedIn, and by own groups and all. And that is how uh, Rashmi ma'am met me, right? Then there's Shweta Singh ma'am, then Pratibha Singh ma'am, all this,
sir, you
So,
have made us.
so there was this thing ki, why shouldn't we start research, and we were planning for some research conference for the PhD scholars. Then we came to this college assurance, and then there was this thing in my mind from very beginning, why should we not start research at the basic foundational
School.
stage? And I proposed this, and Rashmi ma'am was the first person to support this. And she said, yes, it should be and it must be done. And that is how we started, inculcating research mindsets amongst the kids. You would be pleasantly surprised to hear that more than 300 and 400 students are writing quality research papers today. And they have presented live.
Nice.
Yeah, they have presented their research papers live. Last year, they presented live. There was this education summit by us in Susant University. And you won't believe the vice chancellor and the chief guest, they stayed there till 3:30 p.m., who earlier had said
Wow.
they would be there only for 1 or 2 hours. And they asked for their research papers. And then we have, we keep on doing research presentations for the kids, for the students. And even this conference also, which is going to come up here in from May 26th to 30th, some of the students are going to present their research papers.
Very
Similarly,
nice.
So, you know, this was an initiative which was based on the curiosity that I had when I was young. And that's how Dr. Kalam International Foundation came into being. And today we are doing all that. So this curiosity, we as an educator, this is a responsibility, a huge responsibility that we encourage them to ask. You know, उनको सपना दिखाना कैसे जाता है वो देखना बताना जरूरी है. How they should see dream. We should encourage, motivate them to see dreams. Until unless they see dreams, it won't be possible to all these innovations and discoveries that are going on.
The dreams with open eyes, not sleeping, as Dr. Kalam said.
Yes, with open eyes. But there are challenges. First challenges are that we should, you know, be able to inculcate these desires in the teachers today, whether they are from metro cities, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities, or the rural. That this is their now responsibility. They should learn, they should educate themselves, they should be first student. So this is very important.
correct.
This is very important. So this is a big challenge for organization like us and for resource persons and educators like you. You know, it's a huge responsibility. They should not take it as something which is just a job, right? Because nation or the entire world is only dependent on these educators, these teachers, right? So Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam can only be true when we as an educator take up this responsibility and motivate our students, our next generation. So this is very important. But then when we have जिसको कहते हैं ना कि ठान लिया है तो ठान लिया है, उसमें पीछे जाने का नहीं है. We cannot go back. When we have yes taken this place that we have to do it, we have to do it, and there is not going to be any
There is
looking.
no-
We have completed 3 years, and I think that in coming years we are going to grow for the sake of the growth of the educators and everybody. So there's lot
True.
many there is this time constraint, so I'll stop myself here. And although I'm a zero guy, but whatever I could learn from you people, I'm just sharing that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Sudhakar Singh Saji. Very nice insights. I got it from you. It's really a wonderful to see the people like you in the organization. No doubt, it is not a single-handed job. Ultimately, all like-minded people will come and do the things. As you are rightly said, inquiry-based is what you are thought of and how you are worked out. That is not the real need of the today's society, where we are not giving the exposure to our kids, only bookish knowledge that is going on daily basis. So somewhere our mindset has to be changed. Somewhere we have to inculcate the habits with the teachers also. Learn, unlearn things are going to happen. Thank you so much for your insights, sir. I really surprised to see the people like you in the panel, and thank for giving me the opportunity to express my feelings. Thank you.
Thank you to you
Thank
also.
you.
And Kamal Gowda, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, are you there? Kamal Gowda, sir, from Sri Lanka, the great educationist. I think sir is not here. He's a very busy man. So he might be doing something after starting this. And any participant, if you want to give any, your views, otherwise, sir, Sudhakar, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe-
Yeah, it was great.
Okay.
Uh,
Thank you so
Ask-
much to you also.
yeah. I would ask you to give
Um,
this, and then we can, conclude this session. Ma'am.
Yes, because we've got another session waiting now.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. And I thank God also
Thank you.
that like-minded people, all the educationists, we have gathered here to discuss something good for the world. Thank you so much. we may
Thank
leave now.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.